Carolyn Leavitt, like her boss, is an adult-sized toddler, and she's going to prove it in the clip that we're about to show you by relentlessly attacking a reporter for asking a perfectly reasonable question.
Welcome back, folks. Buckle up, buttercups, because today we're diving headfirst into a truly spectacular display of right-wing bullshit. We've got Carolyn Leavitt, a woman who seemingly believes that if you yell loud enough, facts magically disappear. She's about to give us a master class in how to completely derail a conversation, attack the messenger, and avoid accountability, all while wearing the biggest victim hat you've ever seen. Get ready for some prime time absurdity. Let's get into it.
Earlier, you were just defending ICE agents generally, and earlier on, Secretary Nunn spoke to the media, and she said, among other things, that they are doing everything correctly. 32 people died in ICE custody last year. 170 US citizens were detained by ICE, and Renée Good was shot in the head and killed by an ICE agent. How does that equate to them doing everything correctly?
Why was Renée Good unfortunately and tragically killed?
Are you asking me my opinion? Because an ICE agent acted recklessly and killed her unjustified.
Oh, okay. So you're a biased reporter with a left-wing opinion.
What do you want me to do?
Hold up, hold up, hold up. Did you just hear that? Oh, okay. So you're a biased reporter with a left-wing opinion? My jaw just hit the floor. This is the classic absolute textbook right-wing playbook. When confronted with unconventional facts, immediately attack the person stating them and label it a left-wing opinion. It's like saying gravity is a liberal conspiracy because it keeps pulling you down. Newsflash, Carolyn. 32 people died in ICE custody. 170 US citizens detained. And a woman shot in the head by an ICE agent? These aren't opinions. These are facts. These are tragic, undeniable events that demand scrutiny and accountability. To dismiss them as left-wing bias is not just intellectually dishonest. It's a dangerous attempt to shut down legitimate journalism and public discourse. It's truly astounding. It's crazy. They don't want to engage with the substance of the issue because the substance is indefensible. So what do? You throw a temper tantrum, call the reporter names, and pretend the objective reality is just some partisan talking point. This isn't just about politics, folks. It's about basic human decency and the expectation that our government should be held responsible when things go catastrophically wrong. Accountability needs to be met.
So if that is a left-wing opinion, I just want to remind Carolyn Leavitt, then it's the majority of the country apparently is left-wing because that's what the polls show. They do not agree with Carolyn Leavitt. They didn't agree with it immediately. They're not agreeing it after a week of being told that Renée is a domestic terrorist or whatever insane lies they come up with. 53% in a Quinnipiac poll say that Good's shooting was not justified. Just 1 in 3 Americans say that it was justified, meaning that some portion of MAGA, according to Carolyn Leavitt, has left-wing opinions and they're biased. And so we've got more of her complaining, more of her meltdown. Take a look.
What do you want me to do?
Yeah, because you're a left-wing hack. You're not a reporter. You're posing in this room as a journalist. And it's so clear by the premise of your question. And you and the people in the media who have such biases but fake like you're a journalist, you shouldn't even be sitting in that seat. But you're pretending like you're a journalist, but you're a left-wing activist. And the question that you just raised and your answer proves your bias. You should be reporting on the facts. You should be reporting on the cases. Do you have the numbers of how many American citizens were killed at the hands of illegal aliens who ICE is trying to remove from this country? I bet you don't. I bet you didn't even read up on those stories. I bet you never even read about Lake and Riley.
She really got into a particular cadence there at the end with a particular tone. But anyway, that's Irish reporter Niall Stanage, who's a reporter. He works for The Hill. He's an actual reporter. And I just love that she's like, you're posing as a reporter. You're pretending to be a reporter. Do you know, Brett, this is an actual question. Do you know the first reporter that she went to for a question at that press conference?
I don't know, Tim Pool.
No, similar. It was Riley Gaines. She went to a failed swimmer and then yells at this guy. Do you even have the numbers? Well, he listed the numbers. People are dying in ICE custody. She was shot. US citizens are being deported. Like, Yeah, no, I get what you're saying about like illegal immigrants are killing everybody. No, I get the cover story and everything, but like he is speaking up for US citizens there, and she is of course trying to distract from that. The issue though, Brett, I think, is that the polling is what it is. People have not, and they could, by the way, I was worried that the people might think, well, migrants are scary. She's crazy. Renee Nicole goes crazy, and they could have been in for this, but they're not. And so like the White House is bragging about that clip on Twitter, but they don't even have their entire base on this topic. So other than like a viral moment on Twitter that they for some reason think that she did well in, what's the point of this?
60% of independents agree with me that guy shouldn't have shot her. They're what and the question is like, what's the point of her saying what she said? Is that your question?
Well, like, does she think that this, like, if they just keep doubling and tripling down,
Yes.
they think that they will win
So they
over people,
bought-
or they don't care about winning over people?
They own Fox News. They bought Twitter. And they have always, for the last 25 years, had faith in the messaging machine they crafted and purchased, all while complaining that somebody else is running the media.
Yeah.
And that's it. Have you gone on Twitter? I go on Twitter to just like say stupid stuff and then start watching a video I like. And the next video that plays, like the very next video that plays, is the propaganda machine at work. A lot of people who want to be the next Carolyn Leavitt, who are doing what they know they have to do to gain favor with MAGA. And that brain rot seeps into way more places than you would expect. You, in the same way, well, basically, you just see the same message happening. You just start to kind of believe it. You start to kind of accept it, is one hand. On the other hand, by attacking the media, she is deflecting. She is doing something that the same person who might have watched that video and determined it was done, he is not justified to shoot the Renee Good.
Yeah.
Will stop thinking about that and start thinking about, oh, I like this. I like yelling at the media. Who is this Irish piece of crap? But it also reminds me, remember that clip of like Ben Shapiro talking to a conservative British journalist who has the temerity to like ask him the kinds of question that journalists do in a very British way, or maybe it's just an Irish way as well, where you're just like asking the question that is from the opposite perspective of what the person answering it is going to give. So you can have like a constructive conversation where you watch this person defend their view against another view.
Yeah.
And Ben Shapiro loses it and does the exact same thing that Levitt did there to try to paint this person. But the downside was everybody in Britain knew that guy to be a wildly conservative commentator. And that reveals just how thin-skinned Trump and Carolyn Leavitt are. They want you to believe they're these strong people because they're mad.
Yeah.
But a lot of weak people get mad, and it reveals that they can't handle it. And their position while they're telling you that they're stronger than you is, you're being unfair to me. I don't like it when people ask me the questions that I don't want to answer.
Yes, preach. This is the absolute core of it, isn't it? The whole strongman facade that the far right loves to project is nothing but a paper-thin veneer over a deeply seated insecurity and an utterly inability to handle discomfort. They strut around, puffing out their chests, telling everyone they're fighters and patriots. But the second someone asks them a question that isn't spoon-fed, they crumble faster than a stale cookie. The ultimate victim mentality distinguished as strength. You're being unfair to me, said the person in power who just finished yelling at a journalist for doing their job. It's like a bully on the playground who dishes it out but cries as soon as someone pushes back. They want to control the narrative so completely that any deviation from the preferred script is met with outrage and personal attacks. This isn't leadership, folks. It is a childish temper tantrum. True strength isn't about never being challenged. It's about being able to engage with uncomfortable truths, admit when mistakes are made, and actually answer questions, even the tough ones. What we're seeing here isn't strength. It's the desperate flailing of someone whose entire worldview collapses under the weight of one single, well-placed inquiry. Honestly, it's damn right pathetic.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and look, that's definitely, I think that's one valid answer. I'd also say, if these terms weren't so inherently and fundamentally biased, she is acting as if the things he was expressing are politically incorrect. You're not supposed to point out those. Don't talk about the U.S. citizens that have been deported. Don't reference the fact that they've killed all these people. That is politically incorrect. You shut up about that, or the government will freak out all over you.
And there you have it, folks. Another shining example of the absolute circus that is modern conservative politics. It's not about policy. It's not about facts. It's about performance and deflection. So tell me, if you found this hilarious just like I did, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with anyone who needs a good laugh or a good cry. Either way, it's still the state of our discourse. Let's just keep out calling this nonsense together. Talk with you on the next video.